Hi, my name is Sofia and I'm 12 years old and I'm really worried because climate change is one of the most urgent issues that we're facing on the 21st century, and even though we're taking action, we are not doing enough to avoid a climatic crisis because we are still not fully united and aware of the urgency to take action. And that is because not everybody is aware of the climatic issue we are facing, and they aren't aware of their environmental impact. And even though the urgency to take action is growing every day, the first step to solve any problem is to identify and state the problem, because if we don't know about a problem, we can't start taking action to solve it. And that's precisely what I'm going to talk about today: how raising awareness about climate change is the first step to solve it. Sometimes people doesn't even know that their actions are affecting their environment, and they keep doing things that are not environmentally responsible, but not because they are bad people. They It's just that they don't know about their impact. So that's why it is important to help people understand the urgency about climate change and what it really is, climate change itself. According to a study made by the Oxford University, less than 54% of people think that climate change is a serious, urgent issue. And even though the concern level is rising, it's still just half of us who understand the seriousness of climate change. Perhaps surprisingly, the five countries with the lowest levels of concern are all from Western Europe. In Belgium, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, and the Netherlands, only around half or less think that climate change is a serious problem. Less than 3% of the scientists of the world still think that climate change is not real and is not fault of the human population. But the societies still think that it's not real or is not serious or is simply not gonna happen. Or they don't even know about it. It is funny how in school they tell you about that climate change is one of the most serious issues that we're facing, that it will probably end the world as we know it in 5 or 10 years if we keep burning fossil fuels and destroying the forest. And well, that's it. Recycle, turn off the lights, and don't forget to take showers of 5 minutes. See you tomorrow, kids. Have a nice day. They talk to us about the most serious issue that we're facing in this century, and then tell us to move on with our days like nothing was happening. When I was like 8 years old, I heard about climate change, and even though I have heard the word before, I didn't know exactly what it was and what it implied. And I started to research more about it because I was curious. After that, I realized that most people don't know about it. And because I realized about this need of awareness, I developed a mobile app called Cuidando a Gaia, which is the prototype of a mobile app to raise environmental awareness. And it explains what is climate change, its effects on our lives, and what can we do to solve it, and includes several challenges to complete to start taking small actions in your own house to help the environment. Lately, more and more people are starting to do something for their environment and to realize the urgency to take action to stop climate change. And little by little, action by action, we are making a difference. It doesn't have to be a very big action to count, and no matter old or young, we can all do something to help. This world is everyone's world and it's everyone's responsibility to take care of it. And it has to start with us, the change. As Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. We, the children, have to raise our voice for the planet and urge the governments to take action, because in the end, we, the children, are the ones who will get this world. And it's painful to think that future generations won't be able to see this wonderful world where we live in, just because we didn't take the necessary actions in time. Sometimes we think that climate change is something that is not going to happen in the future and we still have time. But that's simply not true. We're running out of time, and if we don't take action soon, we're going to get to a point where the problem gets to an irreversible point where there is no way back. It is important to know this information, not to scare us, but just to be aware of the problems we are facing. Sometimes, even though we know it's happening, we turn our backs to the issue and act like it doesn't exist just because we are afraid to face it. But we can't keep pretending it doesn't exist or is not going to happen. And it's unfair that just because adults aren't going to be here on this world when climate change effects have damaged our world irreparably, they inherit us a world where natural disasters are more intense than ever, a world with coastal cities flooded, droughts, famine, diseases, half of biodiversity dead. Do you really want our future generations to live in this world? I don't think so. In 2000, the United Nations proposed 8 Millennium Development Goals, and though some of them improved in some countries, they didn't completely fulfill their objective. And it failed not because it was a bad plan, but because it was responsibility of just the government. The United Nations tried again with the Sustainable Development Goals, but this time they did something different. This time it was responsibility of everybody, the government, the companies and citizens to do something to achieve these goals. That's exactly what we need to do to stop climate change, because if we don't unite, we won't solve it. And I have hope in humanity. The children of these generations are more aware than ever about the issues we are facing, and more people are starting to realize the seriousness and urgency to take action of climate change. And more often, companies are changing to be more environmentally responsible. And countries are putting in action plans to stop climate change. But we need to take action, not just say it, we need to do it, because our future is literally in our hands now. My future, your future, the future of your children, all the future generations depends on the decisions we are taking now. As Barack Obama said, no challenge poses a greater threat to future generation than climate change. So think wisely the next time you do something. Think about how will it affect the environment and the future generation. The moment we realize that our actions as individuals affect society, and not just our society, but also the future's one, we realize how important it is to be aware of our impact. We need to start being more responsible and think that what we take and consume from Earth, we must return it without hurting the planet. We are living on this planet like we had another one to use after we were out this one. There is no planet B. This is the only planet we have, and we have to take care of it. Thank you. Bye.